Hey guys, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Welcome back to my channel. So it is time for my currently inked. This is probably one of the most favorite videos that I do every month to show you guys what I have inked for the month of December. But before we get into that, I will show you, I guess, a little bit of a progress report on the inks for November. Let's zoom in. So here is what I inked up in November. If you didn't get a chance to see that, I will put a card up in the corner here so you guys can watch that video. And I had 6 different pens inked up, and I'm just trying to think how many of them were new pens. I think only a couple of them were new pens, but the first pen that I inked up there was the Narwhal Nautilus Grand Rhapsody, and this one was gifted to me by Gold Spot Pens. And if you ever want to purchase from Gold Spot Pens, I do have an affiliate link in the description below. This is my first ever Narwhal, and I inked it with Ferris Wheel Press Steeped Umber. Gorgeous combination. I actually thought that the Ferris Wheel Press would be quite dry because when I first swatched it, it was quite a dry ink, but it was beautiful. And this was the ink that I used in my 5-year journal, which I will show you here quickly. I loved the wetness, I loved the flow, and it was just really nice in my 5-year journal. So loved that ink. The next one was the Angel Shop Glamorous, or their Luxe pen with a fine nib, and it had Diamond Iridescent ink. It's actually Iridescent ink, Robert. And this one was a fun pen. Probably not my favorite combination out of all of them. I mean, using the Iridescent ink, Robert, was fun, but again, like, a sheening ink isn't necessarily like my most favorite. Like, there you can see that in my Hobonichi Cousin, where it started off like this dark burgundy red, and then it sheens this really light green. It's a very interesting ink. Probably not my favorite, but very fun anyway. The next one is the TWSBI Eco in Smoke Rose Gold with a 1.1 stub nib, and this one had Ferris Wheel Press Lady Rose in gold. So it was a very light ink with gold shimmer, and it was fantastic. Actually, I think the shimmer ink with the 1.1 stub nib is the perfect nib for it, because then you can really see the shading, you can really see the shimmer. I really enjoyed it. I want to see if there's I'm sure there's a page here that I just, here we go. Like, you can see the shimmer and that really, really lovely ink. I'm still kind of unsure of the 1.1 stub in the TWSBI Eco. I feel like it's just a bit too big of a stub for me. So I'm considering whether or not I want to keep this, or if it's one that I probably sell on. We'll see. And then the next one is the Pilot Prera, and this one is in the ivory body, and it's got a medium nib. The medium nib I actually took from a Pilot Kakuno, and it had Ferris Wheel Press Oyster Hour. And when I first swatched that ink, it was very dry. But then in this pen, it was actually really, really nice. But then towards the end, I felt like I was really pushing my hand down really hard on the paper to just get the ink to come out. So I felt like towards the end, it did get a little bit dry and the flow wasn't great. But in my Hobonichi Cousin, it actually looks really, really nice. And then I had the Sailor Pro Gear Slim and Dragon Palace with Sailor Yoromeku Amamoyoi, and I love that green. Just love that green, how there's so many different dimensions to that green, and it flowed really nicely. Like Sailor inks in a Sailor pen, no problems whatsoever. And then lastly, my Pelikan M605. So this was I guess a new edition. I bought this pen back in July, and then I just received it with a cursive smooth italic fine nib done by Dan of the Nibsmith, and I put Ferris Wheel Press Spruce County Post in there, and oh, such a fun ink nib paper combination. Loved it, and it's one of, now I really love the cursive smooth italic nib. It's like a stub nib but a little slicier. Really, really nice. So which one was my favorite combination out of all of these? Truth be told, I really like the Pelikan M605, but I also really like that Narwhal Nautilus, both with Ferris Wheel Press inks. So those two were probably my favorites this month. So let me zoom out. So here are my 2 ink journals. This is the Midori A6, and then this is my Hobonichi A6 notebook with the Tomoe River paper. I will probably stop using this after this currently inked. This currently inked will probably be the last one because I hardly ever use the Midori paper. It was fine at the beginning when I started this a year ago, but now I will be finishing up with this ink journal hopefully by the end of December and switching to a different ink journal come January. And then this one I'm just going to set aside. I know there's quite a few empty pages in here, but it could be something that I kind of just jump in and out of. You know, we'll see how I feel about that. So let's go ahead and start with the currently inked. The first pen I have here is my newest pen. It is the RANGA Xianti Z2 with an architect nib. Just need to show you that because oh my gosh, how fun is that nib? So this one is currently inked. It's not too bad on the Midori paper actually. So this is the RANGA Xianti Z2, and the acrylic is the Iced Cafe Mocha, and it currently has a fine architect nib. And that basically means, I'll show you in a bit here after I've written the ink. The ink is Diamond Red Dragon. It doesn't sound like a very festive color, but it does look very festive. And the thing with this particular nib is that the downstrokes are thin, but the cross strokes are broad, and I absolutely love that. And it makes for a very, very fun writing experience. And this is the pen that I will be using in my 5-year journal for the month of December. I like to choose one pen and one ink for the month and then go back. I say go back, but next year see what pens and what inks I've used and what I preferred. I'm going to put a pencil board under here just to make it easier to write on. But I am so far loving this architect nib. Super fun, and it doesn't just have to be for block lettering either. You can use it for script as well. Like, look at how it just makes my writing look super cool. Again, the thin downstrokes and the broader cross strokes. So much fun. I got this from Peyton Street Pens, and they do individual nibs with a cursive italic grind or architect grind, and you can buy them just from their site just like that. Love it. So that is the first pen that I have inked up. The second pen is a pen that I actually haven't had for months. This is the TWSBI Diamond 580 in smoke rose gold, and I had it sent away to Mark Bacchus of the nib grinder, and gosh, I'm not a fan of this paper, but I had it ground to a stub. So it is a fine stub nib. How fun is that? And I had him actually make it a little bit wetter. Wow, I cannot spell TWSBI Diamond 580. And it currently has a fine stub. And I also had him work on the nib a little bit, so it is a little bit wetter. And this currently has Troublemaker, Kelp Tea. I love the way this ink goes down. It looks green, but then once it dries, it turns into like this really cool brown. So with the stub nib, the downstrokes are broader, and then the cross strokes are thin, fine. There's actually a little bounce to this nib now, which I really like. But my preference, as you guys know, is Tomoe review paper, and already I can see how much smoother this paper is with this pen and ink combo. So once again, the TWSBI, oh my gosh, I spelled it wrong a second time. Diamond 580 with a fine stub. I am really all about the stub and architect nibs right now. They are fun. They add a little bit more flair to your writing, but it definitely changes the writing experience. And I love that you can have a pen where I didn't like the writing experience with this pen before, and that's why I had it sent to Mark Bacchus. But now, whole different writing experience just by getting the nib ground to a stub and getting it smoothed out. So that is my TWSBI Diamond 580 with a fine stub nib. The next one is one that I also had sent off. This one was also sent off to Mark Bacchus, and I had him take the broad nib that was in here and grind it down to, I believe it's either a fine or a medium cursive smooth italic. And you can see that. Beautiful. So this is the ink that I have in here is a shimmer ink. Oh my gosh, look at that already. I feel like it matches this pen beautifully. So this is the LABAN 325 in the Cambridge. I realize I haven't been putting the colors of the pens in here. And this has a cursive smooth italic nib. And it was ground down from a broad to, I believe it is now either medium or fine. I can't, don't actually know for sure. And the ink in here is Ferris wheel press glimmering greige. Oh, I love that. Look at that. And this nib, again, is the downstrokes are broad and the cross strokes are fine. You can tell I am loving the cursive italic or the stub nibs, but I like them to be in the smaller nib width. It just suits my writing better. Oh gosh, look at that shimmer. So once again, the LABAN 325. And actually it's been a while since I've written with this pen because I basically did the unboxing and then had it sent off to Mark Bacchus pretty much immediately. So this month will be really the first month that I am officially writing glimmering. That'll be officially writing with this, because when you send it off, it can take anywhere from 10 to 12 weeks to get it back. But Mark Bacchus is very thorough. He asks you to send a video of, you know, your writing angle and a little writing sample of how your writing is. Great experience. It just takes a really long time. So that is the LABAN 325 in Cambridge, and I love the look of this pen. It's so classy. So the next pen, this one was a very spontaneous purchase. It was one of those things where I'm like, I loved it when I saw it, and I was like, no, I don't need a sailor. I don't need another sailor. And then forget who it was that basically forwarded me the link to where this was priced so well that I thought, you know what, I can't pass that up. So this is the Sailor Pro Gear Slim in Christmas Pudding. And it has, I chose to get it with a medium nib, not a medium fine. And this currently has, based on your votes, guys, I did a poll on Instagram and you guys chose Enchanted Ocean by Diamond in here. And I think Cocoa Shimmer would have went well too, but Diamond Enchanted Ocean is a fun, shimmery ink. It's like this gorgeous dark teal with that shimmer. Yes, this is the second shimmer ink in this lineup. May not be the last one. But I absolutely fell in love with this pen, and it wasn't one that I was planning to buy, but the price was right, and I couldn't pass that up. So Pro Gear Slim, Christmas Pudding. And I feel like this particular sailor as well, because Christmas is my favorite holiday of the year, and Christmas pudding reminds me of the time that I lived in the UK, even though I never ate Christmas pudding because ugh. But I just love the colors and beautiful. Enchanted Ocean. I really like the shimmer in this ink, and it comes off so well on the Tomoe River paper. Oh, pretty. I love that. So that is my Sailor Pro Gear Slim Christmas pudding with a medium nib. All right, so next one is my Pelikan 140, and this has a, I believe it is an extra fine flex nib. You can see that on there. But this is my own one and only vintage fountain pen, and I bought this off of eBay, and I was very glad that I did because it's got this gorgeous, beautiful flex nib. Now, when I did first get this pen, it didn't flex as much as it does now. I had to clean it with some pen flush and clean it repeatedly because there was a lot of blue ink that was still left in there. I believe this is an EF. And it currently has Diamond Mistletoe. Thanks to Cecilia of Scientist Plans. But look at that flex. Oh, I could do that all day. So fun. Oh, doing the leaves with the flex. Such a fun pen. And there's something to be said about having a vintage fountain pen too. I think, I don't remember the exact decade this was from. Is it the 50s or the 60s? I can't remember. But knowing that this pen has lasted all this time, and I wonder how many people have owned this pen, how many people have used this pen, how many inks have been in this pen. That stuff just fascinates me. The history behind this particular fountain pen. Oh, look at that. Oh, could do that all day. So flex. Oh my goodness. So you can see here I've chosen like 3 different nibs that are just so fun to play with. And I never knew that about fountain pens and the different nibs that really can just change the whole writing experience. So that is the Pelikan 140. The last pen is my Cross Botanica Green Daylily, and this has a fine nib. Now this one was my very first fountain pen given to me by my dad, and it is a pen that I will never sell because it was a gift from my dad, and it was my first ever fountain pen. So this is the Cross Botanica, and it's got a fine nib, and it currently has Ferris wheel press, blue, barrel, tonic. Yes, it is this gorgeous blue with a rose gold shimmer. So fun. Kind of want to leave a little bit of room down at the bottom here because there is a pen on the way from Black Friday, although I don't know if I'll have enough room to put that in there, but that's okay. So yeah, this is the Cross Botanica. Saying that, my dad, this was the first fountain pen that I got. My dad got this for me. My dad also purchased my daughter her first fountain pen, which is a Waterman Allure. I had to look that up because I had never seen one before, and it's I'll see if I can post a picture here. But it's a really cute pen actually, and I've tried it with the cartridge that's in there, and it's actually quite a smooth writer, and my daughter enjoys it. But this ink with this pen on the Tomoe River paper, look at how that blue works so well with that shimmer. It reminds me of cotton candy. Oh, so pretty. Oh, I love that. So there are all my pen and ink choices for the month of December, and I'm really excited to use these new to me pens and my new pens as well, along with all of these new inks. Like, how pretty is all of that shimmer? What are you guys inking up for the month of December? Let me know in the comments below. And what do you think will be my favorite this month? Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and have yourselves a fantastic day.